Why do humans, the so-called peak of evolution, obsess so deeply over the Walking Dead? Perhaps because, deep down, we know we're not that alive ourselves. From the fireside whispers of ancient tribes to the neon glow of blockbuster screens, zombies simply refuse to die. They're more immortal than the very heroes we idolize. And maybe that's the real horror, not the monsters outside, but the suspicion that they are only a reflection of us. Long before Hollywood stitched together its first horror reel, villagers in forgotten corners of the earth already feared the dead would not stay buried. In Mesopotamia, restless spirits called the Giddim were believed to haunt the living, punishing families who neglected offerings. To the ancients, even death had bureaucracy, and even ghosts had paperwork. In China, legends told of the Jiangshi, a stiff corpse that hopped through villages, arms outstretched, suffocating the life out of the careless. Parents told their children, even in death, laziness will still find you. Irony was always part of folklore. The Norse sagas, meanwhile, whispered of the Draugr, undead warriors who guarded treasures inside their tombs. They weren't after brains, but after gold. Some things, it seems, never change. And far across the ocean, Haitian voodoo folklore described the true zombie, not a monster devouring flesh, but a human stripped of their will, enslaved by sorcery, condemned to labor without end. Perhaps scarier than monsters is the thought of being alive, but no longer free. Everywhere, across continents and centuries, the dead refused to stay dead. The myths overlap, as though humanity shared the same nightmare across languages and oceans. Was it superstition, or was it memory? Perhaps, just perhaps, our ancestors weren't imagining things. Perhaps they were warning us of something we've all tried very hard to forget. Modern culture did not invent zombies, but it industrialized them, packaging fear into franchises, sequels, and snacks you can buy at midnight. Black and white TV birthed the template. Late-night theaters raised it. Home video fed it. Streaming turned it into a perpetual buffet for sleepless minds. George Romero's shambling crowds replaced capes and crowns with average neighbors, making terror democratic, and strangely, more believable than any royal court of monsters. Comics followed, then games. The controller became a talisman, and every headshot felt like a ritual against meaninglessness in fluorescent bedrooms. Then came Marvel's gleeful paradox, superheroes infected, ideals rotting behind perfect jaws, hope wearing a cape that suddenly smelled like yesterday's meat. When the invincible turn hungry, the message isn't subtle. Nothing is sacred, not even the brands printed on our childhood pajamas. Merchandise sprouted faster than graves, lunchboxes, Funko smiles, limited editions promising safety through ownership. Because nothing says survival like a commemorative sticker. Hollywood learned the algorithmic rhythm, jump scares, found footage, clever quips, and a soundtrack that teaches your heartbeat to look fashionable. We laughed, screamed, shared reaction clips, and called it community, though the glow of separate screens made loneliness look wonderfully cinematic. The undead became a lifestyle, a filter, a meme, proof that anything, repeated enough, can feel immortal, even if it only sells for one season. Zombies chew on flesh and stories, but in reality they gnaw at anxieties, consumerism, disease, apocalypse, and the fear of being ordinary. Their hunger is bottomless because ours is. 2. More screens, more sales, more steps, more subscriptions, never enough to hush the midnight hum. Shopping malls became perfect labyrinths for the undead. Aisles of fluorescent hope where desire walks in circles and happiness waits somewhere near checkout. Pandemics gave the metaphor new teeth. Masks and empty streets turned thriller shots into news footage. And fiction suddenly felt like a rehearsal. The science is rarely accurate, but the feeling is. Contagion is the plot device of a world glued together by airports and algorithms. Apocalypse fantasies are strangely comforting. They promise clarity. Fewer emails, no traffic, and a purpose as simple as keep walking. We dress like survivors on weekends, boots, backpacks, tactical water bottles, then panic when the Wi-Fi hesitates for 5 seconds. Beneath the grime, zombies represent the terror of sameness. The crowd that swallows faces until every person becomes another copy of hunger.
More?
They are capitalism's nightmare and mascot at once. Unstoppable demand wearing our clothes. Asking politely for more, then louder, then screaming. If the symbol is accurate, the scariest bite is not on the arm, it is on the soul. Where appetite never heals. The scariest idea is not that zombies might appear, but that we already live like them. We shuffle through commutes, eyes glazed by screens, chewing tasteless routines like flesh stripped from bone. Our conversations repeat scripts, greetings, small talk, customer service apologies, dialogue trees like video games no one remembers enjoying. We binge, scroll, consume, endless appetite disguised as choice. Until individuality feels like a relic preserved in amber. The world sells energy drinks to the exhausted, dating apps to the lonely, shopping sprees to the empty, hunger with new costumes every season. If the zombie is a metaphor, then look around. Cities already swarm, movements synchronized, faces glowing, yet absent behind the glow. It is not infection but inertia that spreads. The slow resignation that this is normal. That stumbling forward is the only survival. Brains were once the delicacy, today the prize is attention. Every platform gnawing at minutes until nothing remains but fragments. And the cruelest joke? We volunteer. No bite, no sorcery, just consent, contracts, and a password remembered poorly. So maybe the apocalypse has no sirens, no headlines, only the quiet realization that the mirror looks more undead every morning. Perhaps the zombie apocalypse is not a future event, but a present condition we politely ignore. Stories promised sirens, barricades, survival squads. Instead we find queues, subscriptions, and the dull ache of repetition. The end may not come with a scream, but with a sigh, 1,000 small choices dissolving into autopilot. So the question lingers, when the apocalypse arrives, will anyone notice? Or will we all be too busy refreshing the feed?